Before we dive into the details, I would like to share the detailed agenda with you first. I will make a start with the introduction and talking about the importance of recall preparedness. Then we will focus on what needs to be addressed during a recall situation. Next, who needs to be involved. And then we'll discuss in detail how to prepare a mock recall exercise. And we'll also discuss the important aspects during the mock recall. And at the end, I will share some final hints and tips with you. Let's move to the first topic, in the introduction and the importance of a recall preparedness. Let's first have a look at the definition of a recall. I would like to share two definitions with you. The first one of the UK FSA, and this is a measure aimed at achieving the return of a product other than a safe product that has already been supplied or made available to consumers. So this definition shows you that a recall is taking something back from the public. But we'll use a wider definition, as you will see a bit later on. In the US, the USDA has the following definition. A food recall is a voluntary action by a manufacturer or distributor to protect the public from products that may cause health problems or possible death. A recall is intended to remove food products from commerce when there is reason to believe the products may be adulterated or misbranded. So here you see another few things. In the US, it's always seen as a voluntary action. And of course, in some countries, the food safety authorities can step in and mandate a recall. In other cases, it might be that if you don't do it voluntarily, the authorities will still come in and do it for you at your cost, of course. And as you see at the bottom, there usually you will perform a recall if the product is adulterated or misbranded. And with misbranded, we also mean mislabeled in terms of allergens. But we'll come to those things a bit later on. For today's purpose, we will look at recalls at various levels. First of all, we have the level where you might have a shipment to turn around before it has reached your customer. And an example of this is that a shipment was already done and the microbiological results came in after a shipment had left, but they were not okay. So you actually decided, based on those test results, to return the shipment and send other products to your customer. Another example could be that you ask your customer to return the goods while these have not yet reached the point of sale to consumers. And an example here could be that you get notified by a supplier that one of your raw materials was contaminated with ethylene oxide and that you actually have to recall your products. And if your customer hasn't used your products yet, they can simply return those products to you. But if they have used it, but not yet sent it to the consumer, then they might have to destroy some of their finished product as well. The next level up is where you will actually return goods from the point of sale to consumers. And that's where you might say the shelves will be emptied. But you're not requesting the consumers to return the product actively. And an example of this could be that a mistake was made with the labeling of allergens on a new product packaging. And of course, your customer and the authorities are really not okay with this, but since the health risk might be limited, the authorities are okay with not performing a public recall. So you only need to empty the shelves, so to say, in the local retail. And last but not least, that's where you might face a public recall, and that's where you are asking consumers to actively return the goods to the point of sale. And an example of this could be that sharp pieces of glass were found in 2 of the products, and they have harmed consumers. And that's where the authorities will really ask you to perform a public recall, and usually they will publish this information on their website and even send it out to newspapers, so that you really have to take all the products back from the market. But in all cases, these are the areas that we consider to be product recalls. So it's not only just the public ones or the ones where you empty the shelves in retail. If we take these 3 or 4 levels and put them into a picture, we get the following picture. At the very top of the pyramid, we have the public recalls. That's where the authorities step in and get involved, and actively consumers are asked to bring products back to the retail shops. Then we have the so-called silent recalls. That's where the shelves are being emptied, but there is no public communication to consumers. And at the lowest level, we have either a shipment turning around or returned goods by the customer. Last year, globally, there were 6,254 public recalls done around the globe. And we know, although we don't have the exact numbers, that each level down in this pyramid, you need to kind of multiply these numbers by 10. So this represents about 60,000 silent recalls globally around the world. And a whopping 600,000 products were returned from the customer, or shipments were actually diverted back to the factory. That's huge. And if we consider that we have about 300,000 food manufacturers around the globe, this means that on average, a food manufacturer will face a public recall once every 50 years. But they will face a silent recall on average once every 5 years. But 2 times per year, they will actually have a close shave. They will return the product from their customer or divert the shipment back to their own factory. And that's why we think it's really important that all these recalls, whether it's a public recall, a silent recall, or a return shipment, should be treated equal in your organization.